Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Awards Watch Emmy Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Anderson, and today with me, once again, is Amanda Spears. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
We are right in the middle of the Emmy nomination voting period. We're recording this over the weekend between the 2 weeks of voting. And today we are going to discuss the drama categories, acting, series, and see what we come up with. All right, let's just go right into it. And Amanda, let's talk lead actor in a drama series because we have quite a few potential nominations here. First timers, final seasons, and previous winners. There's a lot of possibility. And we've got 6 spots. So who are your 6 spots right now?
I feel pretty good about my 6. Let me just see here. I don't think I've changed them. Yeah, I'm still going with Jason Bateman, Sterling K. Brown, Jason Bateman from Ozark, Sterling K. Brown, and Milo Ventimiglia from This Is Us, Harrington, Game of Thrones, Richard Madden, The Bodyguard, and Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul.
I want to say the exact same because it seems the most logical and the most likely. I think it'd be impossible to discount like Bob Odenkirk and Sterling K. Brown. I wonder if the shine is off of This Is Us a little bit, but then Ventimiglia's probably had quite a bit to do to get this nomination. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to find a way. I want to find a way to get Billy Porter in there.
Yeah, I think that Milo, the returners from last year, which is only himself and Jason Bateman and Brown, is probably on the bubble. And I think what helps someone like Billy Porter is that Pose is starting to air its second season now. So they're ramping up all of their advertising. But I also am worried about Stephen James from Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can argue whether he's a true lead or not, but the visibility of he's on Amazon's only real drama series. We know the Academy's going to have to check it out because Julia Roberts in it. We know Sam Esmail wrote it, so of course that's another reason to watch it. Bobby Cannavale's in the series. It's got Sissy Spacek. Just by visibility alone, she might be the one and not Billy Porter to sneak into this. I think that's why he was able to get that Globe nomination that a lot of people didn't see coming.
Yeah, that was a really good get for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He also had, though, If Beale Street Could Talk, which was already there in the movie side, and I think kind of boosted that profile a bit. But I'm gonna go with 5 of the 6 that you have, and I'm going to drop Ventimiglia for Billy Porter. I have to think that the absolute impact that he and the show has had the last couple of weeks, his visibility is off the charts. And if anybody that's voting saw his sections on the Hollywood Reporter Roundtable, the actor roundtable,
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a clincher for him. So I think he's it.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth between that. I think Pose. I think he's probably the most likely nominee from the cast. So I think
absolutely.
I do think that Pose, being FX's only show, has a really good chance of getting into drama series. So him as the face of the show probably has the best chance of also picking up a nomination.
Yeah, that's series is another category that is going to see some pretty nasty snubs.
Yeah, but the acting branch does like This Is Us, and I don't see that changing.
I know. I
no.
think he's getting in. I just have to find where. Mm-hmm. Netflix has Ozark and Bodyguard. I feel pretty comfortable with both of them getting in, especially how Ozark overperformed in its first season.
Yeah.
Richard Madden has that Globe and the Netflix FYC events. He seems pretty safe, but maybe we think he's safer than he is.
And for anyone in this category, I feel like this is a really good opportunity for someone to win, because it's only going to get more competitive for everyone, those who might be returning. So for someone like Bob Odenkirk or Jason Bateman, who've been nominated for a couple Emmys and haven't won, they're not going to get another chance like this.
I don't know.
Same thing with like Sterling K. Brown. I don't think he's going to get another chance to win again like he is this year.
I know that's possible. That's possible. I don't know how many outside of who we've named could really like ruin this party too much. Liev Schreiber, maybe.
Maybe they're going to go back.
That would be going back in pretty bit. Diego Luna seems like a long shot.
The only other name I would look out for is possibly John Krasinski, because he does have the SAG nomination, but that would really surprise me. I don't think Amazon is going to push for that very hard.
I think there's one possibility, and it would have to be the strength of this show to do that, and that would be Brian Cox in Succession. If that show's big, and it did pretty well with critics and industry nominations last year, I think it's possible. It would be an interesting upset, but it's possible.
It is possible. He has that elder statesman. I always thought he should have gone supporting, personally. But
I agree.
Yeah, I think he, depending on how Succession does, and I don't know how much HBO cares, frankly.
I know.
That's kind of the thing, is that how much does HBO care about getting a second drama series in competition or anything beyond Game of Thrones this year?
Yeah, I mean, they can worry about next year's Emmys next year, but they need to focus on this and close this chapter out.
Yeah, they want to go out with a bang, and unfortunately for Succession, that might come at they might be the sacrificial lamb in that situation.
True, but we've seen, I think, happen before in various different awards, whether it's Oscars or Emmys. Sometimes is this expectation of something happening, so you can then move your focus to something else. So what if people think, well, Kit Harington's probably already going to get in. I'm going to, put my support behind Brian Cox instead. And then, boom, all of a sudden, Kit Harington is the one snubbed, and people are like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely happen. Nothing would surprise me.
Yeah.
Because the field does feel a little slim. But, not as much as other categories, but it's always going to be interesting. This never really goes exactly as we think it will. It's always usually a safe bet to go with the ones that were nominated last year.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. Let's jump over to supporting actress in a drama series. And do you think Game of Thrones is getting 3 in again?
I think they might even be able to get 4 in, to be honest, because I was really, really surprised that they didn't submit Gwendolyn Christie themselves.
Yeah.
So when I heard that she had submitted herself, I thought, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, because of all of the women on the series, if you want to boil their characters down to one singular episode, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is probably the best tape for one actor or actress.
Yeah. Well, and once nominations come out and they decide which episode to submit, I imagine we'll be seeing that a lot.
Yeah, and I imagine they won't submit the same episode, but
It happens a lot, though.
it does. But I don't think Game of Thrones. I don't think HBO would allow that. HBO is pretty good about making sure. Just using last year, I think Costa Waldo and Dinklage both probably wanted to submit the finale, but Costa Waldo submitted the Loot Train episode.
Yeah.
So I think that they would make them go and pick a different one each. So, but yeah,
well,
I think she has a very good chance of getting in.
Yeah, I'm glad that she was ultimately submitted, and I do think she has winning episodes.
Yeah.
I think it will be sort of tragic for Lena Headey to get in, because she's basically a guest actress.
It's a little sad, but I really was hoping for a little bit more for her.
Mm-hmm. Like, what would she even submit?
She'd have to submit 5. That's really the only one she could submit.
That would be it.
And you know what? I do want to say she is so vulnerable in that episode. It's not a way we've seen her before, where she's crying and pleading to live, and that look of just pure joy when she sees Jamie's come back to her.
Mm-hmm. No, she's really good.
And if she somehow won this, I would not be mad. I really honestly wouldn't be too upset with it, because I think of all the women on the show, she's the most deserving. But that usually doesn't mean you're the one who's going to win.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if she were to win this year, this would be a cumulative award, and certainly not.
They've done that before with Maggie Smith and with John Hamm, and so.
Yeah.
So
John Hamm's submission was awesome, though.
I know, but I think that there was a little bit like, we owe you.
Yeah, but they don't always do that. They didn't do Steve Carell.
But that wasn't the final season of the show. I think if it was the final season of the show and his final episode, yeah, they probably would have given it to him.
I don't know. The Emmys are so weird. They're either like, we're just going to give the same people everything year after year, or it's just nothing and never.
Yeah. I mean, I think Maisie Williams stabbed her way in. She seems a lot safer. I think Julia Garner's like, come on, Gwendolyn. Like, the more Game of Thrones people that she get in that category, the happier she's going to be.
I think so too, and I think Julia Garner is in as well, and certainly should be. Although she's practically a co-lead in that second season.
Well, that SAG Award nomination pretty much cemented her place.
Yes. Yeah, that was substantial, and it just built on the Emmys from the year before. So that was, yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I will say this: if Julia Comer does not get that lead actress nomination, she will be kicking herself, because she could have easily slipped in here and been a factor to win.
Yeah, but she's almost more of a lead than Sandra Oh is.
I know, but I don't think, I just always am going to think she's going to have a little trouble getting past Sandra Oh. And I think if she'd gone supporting, and we had the 4 ladies from Game of Thrones, Julia Garner and Jodie Comer, I would go Jodie Comer, because she's a little bit more the temptress. They kind of like that saying. I don't know. It's one of those things that I was surprised. I would hope they're having a discussion about it, personally.
I'm glad that they're both submitted in lead. I think that I think it's fair, and I do think I have respect for not trying to game the system too much. So I don't mind it at all.
I understand, but she can't even get a Golden Globe nomination in the lead category.
Yeah, she should have been able to get that.
Yeah, that should have been the first clue.
Yeah,
that she just cannot get past Sandra Oh.
Yeah. All right.
She's
so
snubbed again. I bet we might be doing this soon.
I know. So if we have at least 4 that we agree are pretty locked, which would be Julia Garner, Lena Headey, Sophie Turner, and Maisie Williams, that leaves 2 spots left. And if you think that This Is Us is still strong, is there then a place for Susan Kelechi Watson?
I don't know if it's strong enough to get a new person into something other than a guest category. I would actually probably look at someone coming back. So either Chrissy Metz or Uzo Aduba.
Okay, I can maybe see that.
I think Uzo might just slip in again.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm ready to pull the trigger on Watson, but she has had a lot of buzz this season, so I think it's possible. It's really wild looking at this list and realizing how many are not going to be in it next year and what it's going to look like before this year's even done.
Mm-hmm.
What about Keely Hawes, Bodyguard?
I think it's going to depend on how Bodyguard performs overall. I like the idea of the nomination. I just don't. I don't know if it's a showy enough role for her to pop enough for them.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about this without being too spoilery with it, but I don't want to really say much more than that. The new 50% rule for guest and supporting kind of dings her a bit here.
Yeah, one less than 50%. Yeah. And I think it's the same thing with Rhea Seehorn. I know people are like, Ella Gunn didn't get into the 4th season of Breaking Bad, but Breaking Bad was on a real uptick. I don't know if Better Call Saul is on the same kind of uptick that we could see her finally get in.
Yeah, the trajectory for Better Call Saul has been so strange because it's like it's always and also ran. It's almost an afterthought that it keeps getting in year after year, even though it hasn't been that long. It just feels like it's been around for a decade because of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But what about, you see where you mentioned returning possibilities? What about Frances Conroy for American Horror Story Apocalypse?
I would love that because I think she's definitely one of those ladies who deserves an Emmy. She's been criminally overlooked for her work in that franchise, but probably not. We're probably not going to see many American Horror Story nominations. My guess is Jessica Lange might be the only one.
Yeah, I'm not looking for that season to be able to get too much. It's too out there. It was fun, but it's too out there.
Yeah, I love that season.
I do too. There isn't a season I dislike. All of them have a certain amount of.
Well, I don't really like the Lady Gaga one, but
there are elements to it, but it is probably the least of them.
That's my whole thing all after season one. I was like, am I the only one who remembers she nearly destroyed the American Horror Story franchise? try as she might.
I don't care because it gave us that hilarious and great Golden Globe win. So.
Yeah, I mean, that was I love Queen Latifah's reaction. Like, what the matter with these people?
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I think that besides Jessica Lange, who is practically the queen of the Emmys, yeah. I mean, long term, it's going to be a fun race once we see the six, but I think Gwendolyn Christie did the right thing. I know sometimes it's hard, especially when the show's still airing, to want to put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
But I think in her case, they really should have just submitted her themselves.
Yeah. I'm glad that she did, and if she gets in, I think she then becomes a potential major upset to win.
Under the tape system, if they all had to commit 4 different episodes, then I'm just thinking about this. I don't think anyone would submit 1. 5 goes Lena Headey, 4, maybe Sophie Turner. Yeah, I think that, if she had episode 2 and 4 in the mix, 2 being her submission, she's still really good in 4.
Mm-hmm.
She really could be one of those people. She would really be one of those people who could just sneak off with the
And that's what happens with the submissions sometimes, is that, you have your tape that you're submitting, but you might have some great material in somebody else's submission that the voters are also going to see and remember. So it's an extremely strategic choice, all of the tape decisions that people make. But,
and I really always loved Gwendolyn Christie's character. I think for the same reason like I love Denai Gurria's character in Black Panther, is because it's all about duty and honor and the right thing. And we don't really usually get to see a lot of that. So
I would love it. I would love to see her win, or even Maisie Williams, I think, would be pretty great too.
Oh my God.
What?
I mean, Maisie Williams had the single best 35 seconds on screen. There are videos of people on YouTube watching her kill the Night King. Spoiler.
I know. I love that.
Oh my God.
And that could be enough impact. It could override anything else.
And because it's a popular vote, you're going to remember her episodes. First of all, she's like this tiny little girl we've seen grow up for 10 years, practically. And now she's turned into this warrior, slashing all these White Walkers. They're called White, W-I-G-H-T-S. But then she gets to kill the Night King.
I understand.
Yeah, then she gets to kill the Night King, and it's like, boom, yeah. It kind of reminds me of if it was a popular vote the year Giancarlo Esposito was nominated. I think he probably, in a popular vote, would have won. Yeah.
And that's the thing, when the voting systems change year to year, it gives you different winners as a result. What do you think of Fiona Shaw possibly breaking in here?
She doesn't do enough on the series personally that I think would land her a nomination.
So her getting in would be really more on the strength of the show overall having to be pretty major.
It would really surprise me. I don't think she has any momentum to do it personally.
Yeah, she's low on my list, but I'm just keeping an eye on her. All right, cool. Then let's jump over to supporting actor.
Oh boy.
Which is kind of a crazy category too, because it's going to be mostly returning nominees. In fact, it could be entirely, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't know. Let's say who we're locking in to definitely return, because I'm sure we can both agree on, let's say, 3 of them.
I think we all know Peter Dinklage probably got it 1.
Yeah, I think so too. But would we both agree that Dinklage, Jonathan Banks for Better Call Saul, and Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Game of Thrones, those are 3.
Yeah.
And then the next 3.
I would go with Nikolai. I think that under a tape vote, he would stand a decent chance. But the problem is he's never better than Dinklage. That's the problem.
And even when others are better than Dinklage, he still manages to win.
Well, I mean, on the show, I'm not talking. That's their own problem.
Yeah.
But I think Bobby Cannavale comes in.
I think so too.
I switched Giancarlo Esposito for Peter Mullen from Ozark.
Oh wow, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I think that I have the name right. Hold on one. Yeah, Peter Mullen from Ozark, and then I'm sticking with Michael Kelly for House of Cards.
Wow.
Although I am tempted to put in Alfie Allen, because I do think he had a pretty good season.
And he was also somebody that was not originally submitted and then showed up in the official nomination ballots.
Yeah. I wish Tobias Menzies would have submitted himself. Oh my God, he's so good at nomination.
Yeah. What about Kieran Culkin for Succession? Was that Globe nomination just a total random?
I think it's an anomaly. I mean, Scott Conn got a Golden Globe nomination, so you can't always take that too seriously.
Ouch, that hurts.
I mean, if Succession had done better at the Globes, like, they didn't nominate the series, they didn't nominate Brian Cox. There are better actors on Succession than Kieran Culkin. I'm not saying that to be derogatory towards him. But
no.
For me to put Kieran Culkin, and I have to put the series in, I have to put Brian Cox in, I have to really start thinking about a lot of other possibilities.
Yeah. I'm worried about something terrible happening, like, Billy Porter not making it in for drama actor, but then like Evan Peters making it in for supporting and being the only nominee from that show.
I wouldn't hate that, because Evan Peters, when you think about the fact that he sat back and remember, he is probably one of the only original cast members of American Horror Story who's never received an Emmy nomination.
And should have.
Yeah, at some point you think you got to feel bad for him, especially when somebody like Whitrock comes in and does one season and gets a nomination, and
yeah,
people come in and out and get nominations, but he's been there 8 seasons now, it seems like, and he's never been nominated. I do think he is a possibility. He's probably the second person I would think would get a nomination for the series, because he's at least been seen by the Television Academy in a lot of different roles.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think he is the second most likely. I'm just thinking about the terrible idea of him being like the only acting nomination from that show.
Well, it would be kind of the
that
same
would
thing
be bad.
Culkin was the only acting nomination also.
No, it wouldn't be the same at all. I'm talking about a show that's entirely populated by LGBTQ.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking of that. I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of just the level of actors and actresses that I love on Succession. But I see your point.
Yeah, it would. I mean, as great as Peters is, I think he's awesome. And
I
he's
just
not
would like
in the
I'd like
second
to see him
season.
get a nomination. So. Yeah, I'd like to see him get a nomination personally. I really hope either they put him in maybe the next season of American Crime Story or whatever Ryan Murphy does. I think he really is owed the kind of role that would get him an Emmy nomination at this point. So,
well, he's been given it. They just haven't given him the nomination. I think he's deserved it before.
I think he's always been like the third person you think of. Like,
yeah, I think so. There's always going to be a Sarah Paulson, a Jessica Lange, a Kathy Bates.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at like season 2, he's great in season 2, but is he better than James Cromwell? No. Was he better than Zachary Quinto? No. Who was he? Oh yeah, he's a good actor. It's kind of one of those things where he was great in Freak Show, but he wasn't better than Finn Wittrock. He wasn't. Yeah. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump to lead
I just can't
actor.
believe we're not arguing about Alfie Allen. It's because it's like.
What? Do you want to? Do you want to make an argument for him? This is the time to do it.
I think, if you step back and think about how much you hated him and then felt sorry for him and then hated him again, and by the end of this, he had a really good 8-season arc. And he's really, really good in that final episode, in his last episode. So he's not running away. He's running towards his death. There is something kind of dramatic about that. And he's come back to apologize and everything.
It is, and that is the kind of thing where that it does only benefit if you are a consistent watcher of the series, and that is part of your regiment. I know you're toying with the idea of, well, not a history-breaking, but a massive, potentially massive nomination haul for Game of Thrones this season. Yeah. And that would be
history on the drama side. It won't break history overall.
Yes, and that would this is where this kind of thing would happen. It would be 4 acting nominations in supporting actress. It would be 3 in supporting actor. It would be that level of domination.
And if they were playing the game, they would have submitted the actress who plays Yara, because she's only in 2 episodes. They would have submitted Tobias Menzies. I would have had them submit the stuntman who plays the Night King, because people would have. Mark Margot was going to say anything if he got an Emmy nomination for ringing a bell. So,
I know.
Walking through fire.
I know.
Smirking, probably. If there's enough stuntmen who are also in the acting branch, he must have done that way. So they could have really gotten 4 nominations just in guess if they had played the game.
I know. I think they'll...
Especially Tobias Menzies. I think he's on the verge of his first Emmy nomination, but it would have been better for him to be welcomed into the club as an Emmy nominee and then come for the crown the next year. Because he's one of those actors where he really did them a favor by coming back and being an ass. But yeah, we can move on. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It'll be interesting to see if they can build on those acting nominations outside of Dinklage and Coster-Waldau. I can see it. I can see just a full-on blowout for the show.
Submitted themselves. I think Alfie Allen has the best chance.
I agree.
Some of them I'm like, you just wasted $200, but okay.
All right, lead actress in a drama series. Let's do this. What are your 6?
I don't know what to do about Jodie Comer. I still have her in there, but I have her in there because I don't know who else to put in.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Amelia Clark, Laura Linney, Sandra Oh, Julia Roberts, and Robin Wright, although I have very little confidence that those will be the 6.
Yeah, it's weird to...
It's almost boring. I feel like it's a boring
yeah.
because it's just too predictable.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds stupid as far as that.
I'm on the fence with Robin Wright and what to do with
I think she and Michael
this
Kelly
show.
get back in because it's not their fault. The quality of this show was in turmoil even before everyone found out Kevin Spacey was an asshole. But
Found out, yeah.
Yeah. well, as far as like what his extra, being difficult to work with, and then what he's been accused of are
yes,
very different things.
Yes.
So the show not getting a series nod makes sense to me, but the SAG Awards still nominated her. And Michael Kelly, I thought was going to get dropped a year or two ago, a season or two ago, but he still keeps holding on. So, okay, yeah. Sure. It's just easier. It's safer to predict them and then wait for him to drop out than it is for me to try and predict when he's finally going to be out at this point.
I
feel the same way about Robin Wright. She's never missed.
I know. I'm dropping Robin Wright, though.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I do think that both Sandra Oh and Jodie Comer can make it in. There we go. Yeah. So my list then I guess would be Sandra Oh, Jodie Comer, Laura Linney, Julia Roberts, Emilia Clarke, and it's the last one that's getting me.
I would love to predict Saran Jones for Gentleman Jack, but it's the same reason why I can't predict Brian Cox. I just don't know if HBO cares enough.
Yeah, that's just a matter of visibility, which I just don't.
But I think she'll get a Globe nomination if you want to look 10 months ahead.
I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna go with Christine Baranski though for the last spot.
I don't think they're watching CBS All Access.
I think it can happen. I think it can happen more than Robin Wright though.
I think she still has Netflix behind her. She saved a lot of people's jobs by continuing this. That's
true. I think that's a really good point.
I think that she's never missed, and she, for better or worse, captained the ship after it had to reset. So I think she just becomes the savior, and they're going to keep her in. I really wish Outlander had like a season 2 for Katrina Bell. She had her miscarriage episode, because if stars could ever have campaigned, that they could have. They just don't campaign well. They're very weak campaigners. Otherwise, she might have had a decent shot.
I wonder if there's an outside shot for MJ Rodriguez.
It really depends on how much they love Pose. It's just impossible to say.
It's a show that should be able to do really well with a lot of below-the-line nominations. It is a great show.
FX is only drama, so that helps them because they've only got one thing to push for. So
yeah, I think there's a possibility. I'm looking through Gold Derby's experts and editor predictions, and the majority of them have dropped Robin Wright and are sort of looking to find who that sixth spot would be.
If she had missed a SAG Award nomination, I would drop her myself. She did not.
Yeah. No, I think you do make a really good point that this final season was kind of happened by her and the creators able to completely rejigger the entire thing very quickly.
And her willingness to take that on.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough category, and I can't wait to post my predictions. Since I haven't really posted any, I've let you and Eddie take over the the Emmy stuff this year, which has been fantastic, and I love it.
Well, that's because I know what I'm talking about. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. But so do I.
I'm just kidding.
So I think after...
Oh, I saw your Emmy predictions last year. I'm like, you had Claire Foy in third place. I would have told you that was a bad decision.
It obviously was. But it was just so random. It was such a random win.
No, it wasn't. I knew she was going to win. I picked her from the beginning, and I never moved off of it. I knew in February she was going to win Best Actress.
I don't know.
Locked up.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, I'm gonna post just after the voting period is done. That's June 24th. So I'll
probably update mine. Just
yeah, it's definitely worth updating.
Yeah, I want to see PCA first. But sometimes they can give us a good clue.
Yeah, I think that would be.
And somebody like MJ Rodriguez or Elizabeth Olsen for Sorry for Your Loss, or Saran Jones. Or
Maggie Gyllenhaal for The Deuce.
Yeah. I doubt that's going to happen, but okay, sure.
Well, no, I mean she's on the list. So is Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
Viola Davis even is.
I would be more inclined to. That would not surprise me, given this field, that she may come back.
Mm-hmm. There could be kooky comebacks this year.
Yeah, because it's just a year where a lot of shows have taken the year off. So.
Yes.
For better or for worse, you have to respect the fact that This Is Us going to find a way to pause their season. They're going to go, oh, Sterling K. Brown stubbed his toe. I guess we need to take this season off.
It'll be really interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to watch the return of The Crown next year, though, with Olivia Colman.
Yeah, for all of these ladies, they've got to be thinking, thank God they didn't have The Crown, because I don't think anyone has fatigue over watching an award.
Mm-hmm.
So
if she can beat Glenn Close, she can beat anybody.
I mean, for Sandra Oh, if Laura Linney is in the mix, it's just looking ahead. That's not good.
Yeah.
Laura Linney has many people's Emmys. So you might have won everything so far, but don't get too excited yet.
Exactly. All right, let's close out the drama category with drama series. And goodness, this is tough. This is very tough to me. I mean, outside of Game of Thrones, it doesn't really matter since it's going to steamroll here.
It does matter, and I'll tell you why it matters.
But it does matter, yes. It does.
Because for the past 2 years, if you are a drama series, you are not winning Emmys in any category. And that includes like visual effects, cinematography, any kind of audio category, acting categories, if you're not in the Drama Series 7. So, yeah, can you not beat Game of Thrones? Okay. But it still matters that you're in the 7. So for Sandra Oh, she wants Killing Eve to be nominated because that helps her get that win. It helps Bodyguard if Richard Madden is going to possibly upset. Yeah. They need the series to be nominated. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, and that goes for something like This Is Us.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know what's really the most vulnerable, because outside of Game of Thrones, then we have Killing Eve, Better Call Saul, Ozark, This Is Us, Homecoming, Succession, Pose, Bodyguard. Those are all the most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they're not all making it in.
Yeah. My 7 currently are Better Call Saul, Game of Thrones, Homecoming, Killing Eve, Ozark, Pose, and This Is Us. And if you notice, my list has one thing in common. There's nothing from the same network.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think even Netflix knows Ozark is their show.
I think by surprise though, again by how well it performed last year, even though it didn't close, everything. It still did really well with its 2 directing nominations. But then sometimes that's just an anomaly.
Well, I think Laura Linney would have gotten in last year if she had gone supporting, because I think it was more Jason Bateman season where now they're both equally leads.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So I think that this is right now in this season of Emmys, their big drama series, so they have to kind of look after it. Whereas I think, even if Bodyguard gets in, it's best case scenario is Richard Madden and maybe a writing or a directing nomination, but it's still not a likelihood.
Yeah. I think, what do I have? I have Better Call Saul, Game of Thrones, Killing Eve, Homecoming, Ozark, This Is Us, and Pose. But
they're the same 7.
Yeah, Homecoming's the one that I feel the least good about, and then I can see Bodyguard or Succession taking that instead.
Yeah, I definitely think Homecoming and Homecoming is on the bubble. It's hard for me to say This Is Us is on the bubble when I think it still has the overall support of the acting branch.
Yeah.
And it might finally win Felicia Rashad that Emmy. That category is going to be tough because she's going to be in there probably. Jessica Lange's going to be in there. Clarice Van Houten for Game of Thrones.
That's going to be a killer category.
Yeah, Clarice Van Houten wins Drama Guest Actress. Just go ahead and start moving Game of Thrones people up on your prediction here.
And that will be another episode that we do when we do the guest categories, because that's always a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Those are my favorite, because if I get 2 right, I think I'm a genius.
So what do you make, though, of the show getting less nominations in its second season than its first season?
With less?
Yeah.
I think This Is Us is like hanging. But I think overall it has the support of network television. It didn't back down from the challenge. It didn't find a reason to get out of this mess like all those other series did. But I always think of the nominations as lessen. It depends on the show and depends on the season. Sometimes if they have a great season and there's less, that's not good. But if it's like 1 or 2 less, it just really depends. But I think this year it's just so much Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but I mean,
really,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think at least 2 of the directors are set for nominations. It's just rough.
Yeah, that'll be fun too, talking about the directing and writing nominations.
David Nutter is an idiot.
It's a whole other conversation. Yeah, well, there could be a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah.
A lot.
I would out of advise
or one
that episode, but nobody asked me. So.
Well, gosh, if we have the same 7, there's not much debate there, except for the fact that I think we do both maybe have different ideas of what's on that bubble and what's just outside of it getting in. Yeah. Because I think if I have Homecoming on the bubble as my at the end, it's Succession that I have taking its place. Because I think
it's Bodyguard. I think it's Bodyguard, because I do think it's kind of like Mr. Robot, where you have one really, big performance that carries the whole series, and it kind of helps the series within get nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if there's another series, and I think it comes down to the fact that HBO wants to see Game of Thrones lead with a huge night. So much so where they're almost like, if it happens, it happens, but hey, we're not going to, go too far out of our way.
Except there is this overarching fight between Netflix and HBO for most nominations, and HBO would be, smart to want to get as many for Succession as possible.
Oh, sure, but I think it's like you lose the battle of the nominations, but win the war of the most Emmys one of the night. So
yeah, which is already going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think 30 is not out. I was running the numbers for an article I'm writing, and I'm running the numbers, and it would not be difficult for them to get to 30, and that's 6 more than their best.
Yes, and what's the current record?
Well, technically, there's 2 records. It depends on how you view it.
Mm-hmm.
There is 27 for a single season of drama from NYPD Blue. But the last season of Breaking Bad, which was split into 2 parts, so has 29. But that was 2 seasons of television. That's 2 different Emmy cycles, so I don't know if you really want to count that. But
no, that definitely would not count.
Yeah, so it needs to get to 28, basically, then.
Well, there you go. And this, it's certainly possible.
That is not an unrealistic number for a show that got 24 twice in 2 different categories, and a lot of not in the same category makeup. So.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've covered exactly what we needed to for these top tier drama categories, and we're going to do limited series in a bit, and then down the line we will do the guest categories and the writing and directing categories too, because those are going to, I think, take a little more time to kind of drill down and get into.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all right. Well, for now, Amanda, where can everybody find you on the internet?
Twitter and Instagram at Miss Amanda Spears.
And you can always find Awards Watch at awardswatch.com, and on Twitter at awards_watch. Facebook and Instagram are just Awards Watch. So until next time, thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Goodbye.